Hello again, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Discover New Music podcast from us at Pelt Music. I'm delighted to be chatting in a moment with Masca, who just released their debut album, Love Letters. But before then, the usual reminders for myself. If you would, please do follow Pelt on social media. We're on Facebook at Pelt and on X and Instagram at Pelt Music. But that's enough of that. It's time to get on with the podcast. So let's go. Welcome to Tina from Masca to the Discover New Music podcast. How are you doing this actually quite sunny afternoon?
Oh, it's not sunny here. Where are you?
I'm Suffolk way and it's not too bad at the moment.
I'm Bristol and it's miserable. But yeah, no, I'm doing really well. We had a bit of sunshine earlier, so it was good.
Yeah, pretty much sums up the British spring summertime, isn't it? You just like you don't know
Yeah.
what you're going to get, but yeah, it is what it is, and we love it for it. And something I've been loving is obviously everything that's come from Masca thus far. We are going to be talking at length about your debut album, huge milestone. But before then. This is the Discover New Music podcast, and it's hopefully for someone to discover some new music. So we always, as a little introduction, have an opener segment called the origin story. Sounds very grandiose, but it's probably the simplest question really that I ask. And it's for people that aren't familiar with the band. What can you tell us about the origin story of Masca? How did Masca form?
Masca formed in the pits of lockdown in our tiny one bed flat where we could touch the walls of our bedroom like that. Um, yeah, we were stuck together, and so we decided to play music together, and we had amazing neighbours that above us, um, and who we said, is this all right? Because we're quite loud, it's a drum kit and guitar and stuff. And they were like, yeah, we love it. Just we turn the music off when you start playing, kind of. So we were like, okay, great. So then we just started writing together. We had already written together, but maybe like two songs over, we'd been together about 5 years. So we weren't, it wasn't something that we did a lot. It was something that we did if we both fancied it and just for a bit of fun. But this really kind of showed us that we actually love to be in a band together. So we started writing. We did quite a few live streams because, like, I forget what it actually felt back then, what it felt like back then. But I remember watching a couple of live streams, doing those online quizzes and stuff. Like, we weren't allowed out
No.
on Earth. Yeah. So the live streams went down really, really well. And then we did a couple of gigs after lockdown things lifted. We did a seated gig as our first ever gig because it was like that socially distancing. Um, and then yeah, that's the origin story. Like that's how it was formed.
Yeah, and it is it's something I've said on this podcast before because I created this podcast during the pandemic, and obviously the
Ah,
pandemic was a horrible time for obvious reasons, but something that it gave a lot of the guests that I've spoken to on this podcast was time. It allowed musicians that maybe didn't have the time or the inclination to create something to actually go, well, let's give it a go. And so many bands formed during that time, which is
yeah.
an odd consequence of something so serious, But
Yeah.
yeah,
Should
it's
do it more often.
yeah, not so sure on that, but yeah, yeah, there definitely was perks. I enjoyed all the live streams as well. Being stuck in and actually being able to slow down life because life's so fast. Just sitting there and sort of taking in these things. As sadistic as it may sound, there was some positives there, I feel.
Yeah, it's always the case though, isn't it, where you think like I wish I knew that everything was going to be okay, back then, and we were just so worried about the future. And Jack had just gone self-employed as well, so any he didn't get any sick pay from his employee because he just left, and then didn't get any help from the government either. So it was, and we had a mortgage to pay, and it was quite, it was quite worrying for a little while, and then we just thought, we're not spending any money anyway. got enough to kind of cover the bills. So we, part of the reason was, of doing the live streams, we just put a little donation link, which was really nice, for us to get a little bit of pocket money. And yeah, it just worked really well. And yeah, like you say, you wouldn't want to go
No.
wish it again, but it definitely gave us time. Like, I wonder how many songs we actually wrote. Like, since having a baby, we've, the writing slowed right down, especially the writing with both of us. Like, I get a lot of writing done when Cassidy's asleep. Um, but then, you hear her crying in the background and you just got to stop. And if you're on if you're on a good one, just gotta stop. But yeah.
Yeah, but you wouldn't change it for the world. And yeah, absolutely. Glad obviously that Masca did form. And I caught you at 2000 Trees just coming out of the
Oh,
pandemic, obviously early in the Masca story, and was sort of yeah, really impressed and was looking forward to, all right, I can't wait for this band to start releasing some songs and hopefully eventually an album, which is obviously where we arrived to. And some of the songs that come out ahead of the album, I'll just quickly sort of touch on. And one of them that I'm going to start with is Oxytocin, which is obviously first and foremost a great song. Listeners, if you haven't heard it, do check it out. It's on our accompanying playlist. And obviously, I think given what we were just touching on with obviously the sort of formation of the band and obviously writing these songs whilst pregnant, going on to obviously have your son. This song in particular is quite a personal song, I would assume. So what can you tell us about the track?
so it wasn't actually about Cassidy when we wrote it, but after writing it, I realized that actually the words are exactly about having a baby and are exactly about my experience of waiting, for a baby, and but it's actually about, when we wrote it at the time, it was about performing, and the feeling that you get when you perform, like this release, or this, you're waiting for something to come and change everything. You're waiting for this but yeah, a release. I don't think there's a better way of saying it. So it's I like songs where they have we deliberately try to write in a way that it doesn't kind of confine the song to our personal experience. We like to write the songs so that actually anyone can relate to the specific feeling that we've got. And so yeah, the song was about performing, and actually the words are so specific to how I feel about Cassidy, even more so than performing. And it's a weird one because Jack Jack feels more so like he gets a release from performing, where I actually feel quite nervous when we perform, and it's not a release as such for me. It is when I'm like in it and then I'm absolutely loving it and I'm playing everything right for a change, and you know, then a weight gets lifted. But a lot of the time I'm very worried about my guitar playing, and I'm worried about being able to hear and all this kind of, and performing in a to the best of my ability. But the feeling with Cassidy is completely different. I'm not really worried about that, even though I probably should be. But I'm I'm more relaxed about motherhood, and that's why I quite like to say that Oxytocin for me is about Cassidy, even though the song was about performing. Like for Jack, Jack loves performing in a different way than what I do.
Yeah, I get that, and I think the best songs are songs that the relatability is transferable, and the reasons why, you connect with a song, the songs where someone can just take that and apply it. And music for me is such an important part of my life. And I was talking to someone the other day at work around why I love music so much, and you don't get necessarily the same sort of connections with other art forms. Yeah, I love movies and love other forms of entertainment and art. But with music, you can hear a song in a supermarket or in a car, and it take you back to a specific moment, and you can sort of smell the smells that you were smelling at the time that song obviously gained that meaning for you. So like, I love the fact that you write from that perspective as well.
Yeah, it's the like I've thought about it quite a lot, and I do think it's the I got to be careful, haven't I? I do think it's the best form of art because like I have experienced like seeing a painting or seeing a picture that moves me and I feel like, oh wow, like that makes me feel something. But not as much as music. Like you say, it just completely takes you back to a certain feeling. It's like I remember who I was when I was listening to this album a lot. Um and for me, I like writing. Writing is like my favorite part of being in a band, and I think that's because the feeling that you get when you write something that you really love, or when you hear a song that you love for the first time, you can't beat it. Like you cannot beat it. It's euphoric, and it's like for me, I end up ruining it for myself because I end up just playing the song like to death, and maybe I shouldn't do that and be more disciplined with it. But like, yeah, I think that's why I like. But when I try and explain to music, I've only ever met one person who told me that they don't like music, and I just thought you must be dead inside.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone that doesn't like music, or even if it's just like a song, that they really love, or music is a lot of things, and to dislike it is to dislike a lot of things, basically.
Absolutely. I mean, that was exactly the conversation I was having with this chap at work. I think he does it just to wind, well, he does do it just to wind me up.
Yeah.
But yeah, like we did get into it the other day, and just like me trying to explain what, and he understood when I explained it in those terms, and I think got him around, which is good. And I'm actually going to go on to a different art form, in my opinion, just slightly now, and that is something that I grew up with, and just sort of again, music having that connection, another layer of that connection with the music for me would be music videos. So I'd watch music TV before school, after school, like
Yeah.
I might have been listening to Dookie like all the time, but then when I watch a music video and I see like Billy Joe and I'll be like, "Oh, I want his haircut, I want to wear what he's wearing, and it just gives those extra layers. And I love music videos and always have, and always talk about them on the podcast. And you've just released a music video, like great timing for me to talk to you, for Love Letters, which is the title track from the album. And it's a very, very sparkly and lovely video. So,
Thanks.
how did you come up with the concept for the video, and how did you put it into practice?
So, we've learned that we're not the best at like content creation, and not in terms of like the ideas that we have. The ideas that we have are too expensive to do and time consuming. And, I think with all three of us, we really don't like photo shoots or videos. So it took us a while, but we actually found that playing live in the video is a good way for us just to kind of get it done. We can just do a few takes. We're just being ourselves. So playing live was definitely something that we wanted to do, but also we wanted to like get the content creation done and out of the way. So with this, we just thought, let's just focus on the outfit. That's it. Like outfit's going to be sparkly. Like we had a few things. We had suits. Like, should we go in suits? Should we go in like big shoulder pads? Should we go in, all this kind of stuff. So we just brainstorming, and then all of a sudden I was like, shall we go with glittery? And then we can do like moody lighting, and that's all we have to worry about because basically the video is just us playing. And then we did 3 different vibes. So we did moody and sparkly. We did like really sharp colors. And tongue in cheek, like doesn't have to be blazer suits, but we can wear suits if we want. So that was another video, and then we just did normal comfy clothes for Elevate, and we shot all 3 in a day, and we just did outfit change, run the songs like 5 times, and outfit change, run the songs a few times, do a couple of like segues and stuff. So that was how we did 3 music videos, that one we just released and 2 are yet to come. So it's not like we've got loads of cool ideas for videos, but in this day and age, you know, like I used to watch MTV Base and rinse the videos. Like I used to love that, but no one's got the attention span for watching a whole music video anymore. What we want is a clip that we can put
Yeah.
on TikTok and Instagram. And as sad as it is, like it kind of work. That's the one bit that works for us because we don't like being in our own music videos. So we might as well just record us live. It's really real because it's just us playing. And it kind of kills two birds with one stone. It lets people see what we might be like live, even though, you know, it's slightly different, obviously. But yeah, give us a budget and we'll go all out on the music videos. We'll do. We've got ideas.
Oh, and that is, it comes down to budget all the time. But you've shown there to film free in one day. Like I love the ingenuity of it, and obviously, yeah, no, love music videos and love that video. So, listeners, there is a link in the bio. Go and check it. And you say about giving a snapshot of you live. Hopefully, we'll see those jackets live at some point then.
Yes, 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 yes. I mean, I'm wearing that like big shoulder pad silver dress, which I kept, so I'll be definitely making the
Rocking
use of
that
that.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, love it, love it. Yeah, well, I mean, it also fascinated me where you said that you don't like obviously photo shoots because I'm going to jump ahead a question now, and I was going to mention the album cover. Because I mean, for someone obviously that doesn't like photo shoots, you went all in on that photo shoot. So I mean, listeners will be able to see it because it will be part of obviously the intro to this episode. So you would have just seen it. Like obviously getting in the water, how cold was it, and how long did that take?
It was quite cold, but literally no time at all. Again, we got so yeah, so the videos were done by a guy called Kieran Gallup, who's just done quite a few of our videos now. And then so we've got a good relationship. Like I don't think you could say to very many videographers like, can we do three in a day? And like, you know, so same with Tom. So Tom Ham did these pictures, and it wasn't actually we didn't say can you come and do our album shoot. It was like can you just come and do some promo shots for us. We need some new photos for press that that are in like the last 2 years at least. So we said like we're doing like building work on our house at the moment. Jack's basically doing it all himself, and we just said I think that's quite a cool like backdrop. It's like this is the chaos that we're living in, and this is us. And I just thought that that'd be quite cool to see like us, like all neat, and then like chaos in the background. So we also built a studio in our back garden. So we just did some photos in our studio. We did some photos like in the rubble, which we haven't put out yet, but that's just all in the back, you know, in the back burner. And then Jack also decided that he wanted a swimming pool. So a few weeks before, we bought this humongous above ground swimming pool and just shoved it in the corner of our garden. And we I just said to Tom, like, shall we get in? Like, is that cool? And he was up for it. So we just got in, had all these photos done, and then there was one where I know I think Tom actually said, "Why don't you like don't like go under for like the last shot or something?" So we did that, and then we took a few coming out and that kind of thing. And we loved the photos. Even at that point, when we got the photos back, we didn't really think anything of like it being an album cover because we hadn't got on to the point where we'd even think of an album cover yet. And then the girl that we usually use, Sophie Zorabida, I think is how you pronounce her name. She did Stage Fright and Sync, our first EP, Sync EP artwork, but she was taking a little break on doing artwork because she works a full-time job. Um, and I just thought, no, okay, I think it's probably a good time to step away from that vibe anyway. And then I asked the boys, like, what do you think of this picture for the album artwork? Like, I love this picture. We're not in it per se, like, our faces aren't in it, but you can tell it's us three if you know us. And it's like, I think it encapsulates like the songs. It's kind of, am I doing this? Am I not? You know, let's go for it kind of thing. And yeah, I just think it's perfect.
I agree. It's yeah, so cool. Really did tickle me. Probably also because the um the pool is very similar to one where my wife a few years back said, I think during the pandemic, said, I've ordered this paddling pool for the kids, and you might need to assemble a little bit of it. And then a knock at the door comes, and there's a van with about three burly men that bring out all of it. And I'm just like, I thought this was a little paddling pool. Like I spent like days like building this pool and putting it together.
Yeah,
But
it's a monstrosity, but we just thought in the summer it's just really nice to be able to like, take Cassidy swimming is what we thought.
yeah, absolutely. Just get the kids
And shoot your
outside.
album artwork in it as well.
Exactly, two birds, absolutely. So with the album, it's been out for a week or two now as we talk. I say big milestone debut album. How does it feel to have it out there in the world?
It feels really, really good. Yeah, like we pre-produced it as well as obviously wrote the songs. So it feels like it's been a long time coming. And like when we were releasing the second EP, we were already writing the album song. So it yeah, it feels like it's a really, really long time coming. And um there's this tendency, I think, for bands to just want to get onto the next thing. But I don't get that so much with this. I think it's because we were writing it and we haven't played any of it live other than one song, well, two songs now. Um, so that was quite a nice change. Before, I think with any band that's just started, you know, first, second EPs, you're playing those songs live all the time, and so they feel really kind of grounded. And I think when if you've done two EPs like we've done, um, like 11 songs, I think for the first two EPs, that's enough to be getting a set together. So we didn't really have to play many songs on the album live until we really liked them and just wanted to play them. So I think we're really happy that it's out there now so that we get to play some of the other songs live. But we didn't play very much of them live, sorry, at all in person until we recorded them because a lot of it was done um, like in a room like this, like with a computer and with our instruments all out, but not actually playing the parts together. I think that very, very rarely happened if we got stuck on something and just thought, oh, let's go and jam it out and see what happens. So it feels really good not only to have it out, but to be able to like practice the songs and figure out how we're gonna do it live.
Yeah, I bet. And obviously, the opportunity is coming for listeners to check these songs out live. You've got a run of dates booked, which start in May.
Yes.
So obviously, yeah, it must be exciting to get these songs ready for to play live.
Yeah. And it's really nice, like when Cassidy's like starting to sleep a little bit more now, which is a massive game changer. He honestly didn't sleep for the first 14 months. It was back breaking, and sleep deprivation is not the one. And so there were times where we cancelled practice just because I just needed to catch up on sleep and all that kind of stuff. So it feels like now we've got a really good rhythm. He's sleeping a bit more, which means that the 6 a.m. wake ups like don't feel as brutal, even though they are still brutal. I used to wake up at like 9 o'clock. Well, I mean, I went to bed at like midnight, but I can't do that anymore. But now, yeah, now it's life feels a little bit easier, and so we're practicing. Um, what's the word? We're practicing every week, and it makes a huge difference if you practice every week and you don't leave it like 3 weeks before each practice. So we're really looking forward to getting this tour that's coming up in May.
Yeah, definitely. And listeners need to pop along and catch a show if you can. Best way, obviously, for listeners to find a show is to follow the band on social media. You make it really
Yeah,
easy for me. I always give out the handles, and there is just the one to give out. You are We Are Masca across all
we
of them.
are Masca. Yeah.
Thank you very much for that. Sometimes there's four of them, and they've got underscores and all sorts of stuff going on.
And
really easy. So listeners, do make sure you check out the socials for the band, give them a follow, and obviously, if you can pop along to a show, you're not going to regret it. And hopefully, the last segment here will whet your appetite, listeners, for that. It's always the same segment to close us out, and it's called Setlist Science. So I'm a music video geek, I've already said, and I'm a bit of a setlist geek. Always sort of keep track of what bands are playing and what songs I've seen live and all this sort of stuff. I mean, I could show myself as a proper geek and like show a load of spreadsheets and stuff I've got, but I won't do that. But
are you one of
I'm
those?
one of them. I'm one of them.
Yes, I love a good spreadsheet.
Can't beat him. Can't
Yeah,
beat him. So
yeah.
useful, so beautiful. So obviously with set lists, yeah, there is an art, I believe, as well to properly structuring a set list, and I really think it's important. So I'm always interested to get the guests' opinions on that. So the first question is simple, and it is: have you got any rules that you tend to follow as you structure your set lists, and how important do you feel it is?
Yeah, at the moment we feel like one song that's worthy of being at the end. Um, which is a shame. We are working on that, but at the moment, yeah, that's that. Um, Basically, a couple of other things is that I need a break, and so we're working on that as well because none of the songs are a break, other than the ones at the very very end, which is not how we want to do them. But I think when you've got a bunch of songs and you haven't got the luxury of giving yourself a break, I think you just need to make sure that the journey's a bit of a journey rather than just like push, 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 push the whole way through. Because I think people can get tired of that. So for us, it's not like a rule that we absolutely, absolutely follow. The same things tend to crop up. Like if we do, I don't know, if we do two that are quite upbeat, then we might try something that's a little bit more calm. I mean, all of our songs have quite a heavy, high energy bit in them, which makes it quite difficult to figure out where my break is going to be or and oh, another thing that we think about is tuning. We don't want it to be like song tune, song tune, song tune. So that kind of gives us something to go off. But usually what we do is we write a set that we think is gonna work. We play it and time it. Say that didn't work. Like that's too similar or that's too different or yeah. But we haven't got rules as such. We just kind of feel it out and we know if something's not feeling good. And I think we're all three of us are quite good at the set list. What's the word? Curation.
That is the word. Yeah. No, it's good. I mean, sometimes it can cause quite a bit of an argument in bands if there are disagreements. But yeah,
I think for me, set to be fair, set list curation is one of the things that I'd just be like, all right, I'm leaving it to you. Like, I do think it's important, but I don't trust like my opinion as much as I do the boys. They're I think when you feel quite strongly about something that comes across, and if I'm not, then I'm just like fine, like it is what yeah, we'll go with that.
yeah. Well, I like that you touched on the sort of, I'd call it trial and error in a sense of you said, when you see something's not working, and I take it that would be, you're not really rigid in this is our set list for the next 6 months, and you realize that something's not working, you go, well, sod it with, that's our set list, we're not changing it. You would obviously adapt if you felt something could be done better.
Yeah, well, I don't think our sets are. Well, yeah, I don't think we gig enough so that it feels like we've practiced this set, and so it has to be this set. I don't think, you need to be doing 100 gigs a year for that to feel like click, and now I'm into the next song kind of thing. Like we know all the songs really well, and we can play or we can play any of them in whatever order. It's not like we've rehearsed exactly the timing between this song and that song, and I'm going to talk now, and this is what I'm going to say. It's not that kind of show yet. Um, Not that I don't think it would ever be that show, but it's not as slick as that, and it could be. But yeah, I think for now we're just finding what works. Um, I'm talking a lot more in the set. I find it actually weirdly calms me down. Um, so rather that than kind of stick to anything really, really rigid, I think as soon as it becomes quite rigid, that makes me nervous.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And as a music fan that goes to too many gigs a year, if there is such a thing, but you can tell when it is rigid, and you can. I mean, I will sometimes see bands on multiple shows of a tour, and the stage banter will be exactly the same. I mean, I'm not naive enough to know that it's obviously going to say on the set list, "Here's a bit of a break, kill some time, say something." But when you see like two or three shows on the tour, and the words are routinely exactly the same with no give in them whatsoever. It's just like, okay.
Yeah,
Um,
that feels weird to me, especially if it's like the timing of it and like I have a few notes on my set list where it's like thank the other bands, thank
yeah.
merch, big merch. But it's never like I haven't got enough time to remember all the words that I'm saying, and sometimes it goes terribly wrong, and I end up having like ranting, and I always start ranting when I'm get given the opportunity to. But no, I think yeah, I just think it's nicer when it comes from the heart, and sometimes I
Absolutely.
do feel like you stumble across something that's actually quite nice, and I remember thinking that when I said something about being vulnerable because stage fright is about that, and I remember saying that a couple of times in the set after that, but also it was never exactly the same. And when I started saying something that was quite similar, every night, I was like, I need to not be saying that anymore. Like, even though I could still
Yeah, I think as long as it's from the heart, as you say, it's real and it's not. I
yeah,
think the word I'd use is scripted. Um,
scripted.
yeah, as a music fan, I want to see live music, not pre-recorded
Yeah,
music with a script in the middle. But
yeah,
that's just
yeah.
me. But
No,
yeah.
that's me as well.
No, well, fantastic. I mean, you're definitely passing the test with obviously the setlist science, and listeners. Hopefully, that has whetted the appetite. And like I say, my final message to the listeners is follow the band on social media and pop along to a show. If you can't, then definitely be listening to the album, checking out the video, and everything that is going on with Masca because the future is definitely bright, I would say. So that is my final message. But I always give the final message to the guests. So, Tina, what would be your final message for listeners today?
Final message. Um, oh wow. Final message. What do I want to say? Stay curious, and keep talking to people that you disagree with. Don't write them off. I think that's the main things.
Very important. I love it. When it's always a good question to end with because you either get the sort of the heavy, serious answer, or you get something quite off the cuff. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I was like, what can I say now? Like,
I absolutely love it. And thank you so much, Tina, for coming on the podcast today.
no worries. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you everyone for listening. I really do hope you enjoyed that chat there with Masca. You really have to check out their stunning debut album, Love Letters, and follow the band on social media to stay up to date with everything coming from them. You can also stay up to date with us at Full Pelt on Facebook at Full Pelt and on X and Instagram at Full Pelt Music. Lastly, from me, if you would please do hit that like button, hit that subscribe button wherever you're watching or listening, because we'll be back very soon with another episode of the Discover New Music podcast.